being brothers, did you ever face with a situation where both of you had different opinions? And both of you thought individually that the other was wrong?
You're asking both of them or one of them?
Pankajanghari Prabhu. How do you deal with each other when there is difference of opinion? And who gets an upper hand in these situations?
You have to ask both of them. It's not fair.
The answer to the first one is yes. The answer to the second one is yes. And the answer to the third one is Jananivas. When we were about, I guess about 10 years old, 10 to 12 years old, we used to have a fight every day without fail. It was our sadhana. We would wake up in the morning and we had to have a fight. And until one cried. And then when he cries, when one cries, then the one who made him cry has to be really careful, because then it means he's going to get angry, and then it's going to get serious. It's not serious before, it was just, but if he's angry, he may get serious, you may get a few gushes, a few. So then the other one, to save getting some real punishment, he would cry. He would let himself get caught by the other one in some hold, and then he would start crying, then the other one would feel, okay, now I made him cry. So this was our daily routine. And for a few years. And I guess that settled all our differences. After that, we never had any quarrel, we never had any differences. I guess we got rid of it, all of that, during those few years. After that, we didn't have any problem. The devotees say, how come your brothers always fight, but we never saw you fighting? So I guess we used up all that when we were young boys. We fought every day for a few years. Used all of that propensity of fighting with brothers. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. To Jananivas Prabhu. Hare Krishna. While doing deity worship, we used to worship with ghee lamp 4 times to feet, 2 times to the belly, 3 times to the face, and 7 times to the body, or agarbatti 7 times, etc. The body of the Lord or other items are worshipped in a specific number. So what is the significance behind these numbers?
I don't know the significance behind the number of circles, etc. you're offering in arati. There are different scriptures and there's different numbers of circles also. The Vishnu Jamala says offer 7 times all the articles, and different. Generally only the lamp is considered the most prominent thing in the arati ceremony. And that different scriptures give different circles, 4 to the feet, 2 to the waist, 3 to the face, and 7 to the whole body. And generally, outside of the lamp, they don't give specific instructions. So, Srila Prabhupada also said, he said a few things also in different times. And if you see that film of Prabhupada, he's offering Arti, I think to Krishna and Balaram, he seems to be offering to every limb of the body. And in fact, he told Jayapataka Maharaj that you can offer to every limb of the body. He also said offered 7, so in the Pancharachika Pradeep, the GBC authorized standard of worship in ISKCON, they just settled for some number just to systemize it. Prabhupada said he wanted deity worship systemized. But it doesn't seem a big factor, the amount of numbers of circles or anything. And so they come to a conclusion. Mostly it's 7 times, and the lamp is 4, 2, 3, 7. But apart from that, I don't know, and I haven't seen any significance for the different numbers. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. This question is to His Holiness Radhanath-Swami Maharaj. How should we react when we are chastised by our authorities in our service to Krishna? Generally, I become bewildered and discouraged. Thus, please guide me. Sometimes I think that I am right, but my authority misunderstood me. Sometimes I think that I am right, and it is the authority who has misunderstood me.
I'm not your authority, but I think I misunderstand you. Our purpose is to make spiritual progress. If we take chastisement in a proper spirit, we become humble. We seriously contemplate how I can improve the quality of my character and my devotional service. If we are defensive, we miss the opportunity. If we're submissive, even if the authority may be misunderstanding you, still you make great progress by learning in the situation. If the authority is trying to exploit you or is trying to guide you in a way that's against the regulative principles of Krishna consciousness, then we should not accept. But if the authority is trying to engage us in Krishna's devotional service, and there's nothing against religious principles in what he's speaking or she's speaking, whether we're understood or misunderstood is not really important. Saint Francis of Assisi, in his prayer, he said, "My Lord, I seek not to be understood, but to understand." What is critical is how we grow spiritually and how we progress in that particular situation. And that takes place when we're submissive, not when we're defensive. I would like to speak an example of somebody who was not necessarily misunderstood by a Krishna conscious authority, but somebody who persevered with faith, even though he was grossly misunderstood by another type of authority. Somewhere way in the back is an extraordinary devotee named Bharadraj Prabhu. from Ukraine. Can you please stand up, Bhardraj Prabhu? Everyone look way, way back. There he is. I'd like to say something about how he was misunderstood. He was one of the original devotees who dedicated his life to Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission behind the Iron Curtain during the communist regime in Russia and Ukraine. Not only was he strictly following the principles of Krishna consciousness, which was against the law of the state, but he was preaching enthusiastically underground and bringing more and more people to engage in this highly illegal activity of chanting the Mahamantra.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
He was honest, simple, humble, respectful. The only law he was breaking was he was spreading the holy name of Krishna. He was arrested by the KGB and the communist government 50 times over a period of 10 years. He was put in prisons, persecuting him. They sent him to be a prisoner in mental insane asylums, where they experimented with dangerous, debilitating drugs that affect the mind and the body. He was in several of those hospitals and tortured in this way. And yet, every time he was released, he went out to distribute Prabhupada's books underground, to preach Krishna consciousness to more and more people. Now, he did not know that the communist government would end. When we look back, we could think he was doing it, just hold out until, what, 1999 or whatever it was, and then it will end, and then 89? What year was it? 89? He didn't know that. As far as he was concerned, the communist government was so powerful, he was willing to go on being arrested, persecuted, imprisoned, and tortured for the rest of his life to spread Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada's movement and to induce more and more people to chant the holy names.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
He was seriously misunderstood by authorities, not temple authorities, government authorities. They considered him a threat to the state. But actually, he was trying to simply spread love of God in the state. Let us all express our sincerest honor and gratitude to Bhardraj Prabhu for the example he has set for all of us. So, my dear friends, when your counselor or temple authority misunderstand you, it is not all that bad. Just learn from the experience and grow. I am finished.
Hare Krishna. Jananivas.
No.
I am very proudy of my abilities.
No, I just answered.
And therefore I cannot make progress in Krishna consciousness. Please explain.
Isn't it your turn?
Jananivas.
Did I just explain? See, it's another qualification. We're getting so many questions. Qualification. But what do Gaunitai see? And Prabhupada see when we're approaching, I'm supposed to be your humble servant, Jananivas Das. I'm full of calm, I'm full of growth, love, anger, lust, greed. I got so many bad qualities. What are they thinking? We know that. We know better than you. This is how I am. Yes, and this is who we want. We want you as you are, right now. So whatever you've got, just come, give everything to us. Come to us right now. Don't worry about your qualification, trying to get purified from all these different things. Just as you are, this is how we want you right now. Accept our service as you are now. This is what they're saying. There's a letter from Srila Prabhupada, and one devotee said, Srila Prabhupada, I want to make an intense study of your books. And when I've got that down, then I can go out and I can really preach. I'll really be able to get through to the people because I'll have so much knowledge, I'll have so much conviction, I'll have so much realization. Then it'll be so good for my preaching. And Prabhupada said, if you wait for that purification and knowledge, he said, you'll never go out and preach. If you're waiting for that time to come, when you get this purification and knowledge, he says, you won't go out and preach. In other words, you spend your whole life doing it. So this is Krishna consciousness. I think he gave the same example to Jadurani Mataji. She was an artist, and in the beginning she was kind of simple. And Prabhupada said that she wanted to be, turn out some masterpieces, some Rembrandts or something like that. And Prabhupada said, no, he said, you're an artist. He said, whatever you can do right now, you do that for Krishna. He said, you're not a fantastic artist, but if you wait until you become, one of the masters of art, he said, then you may miss Krishna consciousness in that time, may have gone by then. So whatever you've got now, just using Krishna's service. This is the kind of idea behind it. It's qualification. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. This question is for Candramauli Maharaj. It's been almost 8 to 9 years in my devotional service. I love all the devotees, the process of devotion, but I really don't understand why I don't have taste for reading books. Just to help with the question, I would just give a brief information. I used to not like reading much in my school or college days. Is it something like conditioning or so? Please help me to develop taste and fixed determination to read Srila Prabhupada's books regularly.
How to develop taste for reading the books? Well, practically speaking, I've been asked this question many times. Pick a section of Prabhupada's books you like. Look for a pastime or something that interests you and start there. Begin where find something that interests you, some pastime, some aspect of the books, of the philosophy, and start there. It's not that. I was asked this question, do I have to start from the first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam and go verse by verse all the way through to the 10th canto? Oh, I'll never do it. And I said, don't worry, just pick something. Do something, start, read. So just find something you like. That interests you. And then once you start reading that, and the taste for reading comes by reading. That's one of the ways. There's many ways you can develop your taste. But that's one way. As you purify your chanting, your reading, your desire to read and to hear will also increase. Take part in, coming together with a few devotees and read together. Little groups of devotees just sitting and reading together. We should do that more as a society. So if that's your desire, it can happen if you just persevere in the right way.
Thank you, Maharaj. Pankajanghari, Prabhu. Maharaj, we hear so many qualities that we should develop in devotional service. Overcoming the anartha. But when we want to apply them in our day-to-day life, we fail in such a bad way that we forget that completely and think that it is not my cup of tea. So how one should approach to advance in spiritual life and develop newer and newer devotional qualities?
There are no new devotional qualities. They're as old as the hills. Devotional qualities are intrinsic of the living entity. They're the eternal qualities of the living entity. Is pure devotional service to Lord Krishna. It's just that we're so attached to Maya and we've forgotten all about that, that we take this Mayic existence as a reality and our attachments in this material world as important. So the process of Krishna consciousness for the conditioned soul is 180 degrees. You've got to turn completely around. That's why it's difficult. And that's why the karmis and the gyanis, they can't do it. It's 100%. You've got to... Instead of they're doing everything for themselves, and the devotional path is you do everything for Krishna. In other words, Krishna is the most important thing, in truth. And we are created for to assist in His pleasure. To assist in His whatever He does is important. So we are created to assist in that importance, in His pastimes, in His activities. But in the material world, we're taking His position. Our mentality is we want His position, that's why we're here. So now we have to reverse. Instead of doing everything I do for myself, I put Krishna in that position. Let me now do it for Krishna. But because the mind sometimes doesn't like that, because the mind is the king of the senses. And the mind has been in control or out of control for hundreds of births, leading us all around the universe in different bodies. For untold births, so we've heard in the scriptures. So the mind is the king. The king is not easy to... You can't say to the king, just by your intelligence, look, we've been following you for a long time, and we've ended up in another material body in the material universe. Why don't we accept the advice of the sages? Why don't we accept the advice of Krishna? So you should step down from your position of what you think is right and what you think is wrong and accept someone else's. So you kindly get off the throne, and so the king is not about to do that, you see. So if you tell the king to do that, what will he do? Huh? So that's what it means by conditioned soul. You don't so stubbornly want to hang on to that position of being in control. So stubborn. Therefore, it says, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, the conditioned soul simply makes an ass of himself, carrying this heavy burden of the body and all of the things related to it, around, traveling, carrying one around the universe. All unnecessary. Simply because of that adamant
adamancy to surrender to Krishna. No, I'll do it. I will show I can do it by myself. So these anarthas, these setbacks are for that purpose, to tell us you're not the controller, you're not the enjoyer. Don't try to imitate. Krishna told you right in the beginning. He says all this whole place, Brahma, Bhuvan, top to bottom, it's a place of suffering. Krishna says that. He created it, and he created it like that. But we think, no, I'm special. Somehow or other that applies to everyone but not me. We believe what Krishna says, but somehow or other, by my endeavor, I can find my way through and be comfortable. Right? So everyone is doing that. So that's... and of course, you're up against Maya. You're up against Durga. It's you and Durga. And Durga is Shiva Shakti. Insurmountable. Devi is Shiguna, not possible. And she has this three-soul. Ariatmik, Aridevic, Ariboltic. Get back, get back, get back. Get back, get back, get back to Krishna. She's giving this poking. Get back, get back, get back. That's her service. Go back to Krishna. Don't fool around with me. I have a husband already. You can't enjoy me. Get back, get back, get back. And you can't compete with Lord Shiva. And she's very chaste. Sati. So this is what it's called illusion. You're trying to enjoy something that is impossible for you to enjoy. You're trying to control something that's impossible for you to control. So that's what it means. You get over this anartha nivritti, the material body, the material life means anartha. You're not going to get over it. You're in it. This is an anartha. So the idea is to after we're tired of being beaten down, we should come to our senses. I'm not the controller. Actually, I'm not the controller. All these questions are saying, how can I control? Most of these questions, right? I'm having this problem, how can I control it? You can't control it. That is it. You can endeavor. You can endeavor to follow the instructions of Krishna and the spiritual master. That's all you can do. How they work, that's another thing. Krishna says you can work, but the result depends. The result doesn't depend on your work. The result depends on me. But because we think it depends on my activities, and I'm doing everything properly, and then there's so many obstacles coming. Why is that? Why is that? Oh, it's the teachers. We still have to give up that mentality. You're going to get old, you're going to get sick, and you're going to die. What's the use of trying to prevent that? It's a dream. It's going to happen. It's a reality. So everything is an obstacle in spiritual life, in the material world. It's not. You don't come here to serve Krishna. You come here to forget Krishna. So when you take up your real consciousness of trying to serve Krishna, it means 100%. It means you're swimming upstream. And swimming upstream is tough. You can't stop. As soon as you stop, you go back. It's a relentless task. That's the material world. But that's what we're in. Huh? You can't win. You can't quit. And you can't break even. Hari Griva. It's like it. The material world. So just accept our position that we're actually insignificant. That's your position. We're insignificant against material energy. We have no potency. With spiritual life, we don't know, haven't got a clue. Only what we've heard. We don't know. What is spirit? Who can say? What is spirit? You don't have a clue, right? Only what you've heard. We're only going on what we've heard. But we don't have that. Where's the realization? So to spiritual, we don't have any clue. And material, we also don't have any clue. How it's all conducted by the devatas. We think we're doing everything, but they're doing everything. So either way, this is the condition of the soul. So if we study Prabhupada's books, we'll understand all these problems will gradually be resolved, that we're actually insignificant. That is the position of the conditioned soul in the material world, insignificant. You don't have that ability to do it. You have the ability, by Krishna's ability, he can give. You can pray for that. But to try to overcome these obstacles, you can't do it. The material body is an obstacle. Simply follow the instructions. Anything that is to be done is already there in the Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada's books, the rest of Prabhupada's books. Simply follow and hope. Pray that everything turns out all right. But simply that sincere endeavor to follow, that puts you in a perfect position, whether there's anarthas or not. You want to get rid of anarthas because you want it easy. You pray for Guru's mercy because you're lazy. You don't want to do it yourself. Pray for Krishna's mercy. You pray for Krishna's mercy because you don't want to do it yourself. But spiritual life means you have to do it. Doesn't mean, it means, as Chandramauli Maharaj said, the instructions are to be followed. You're hearing these things, you're asking questions. You shouldn't ask a question unless you're ready to accept that answer. Accept it means to follow it. Otherwise, don't waste time asking questions in spiritual life. This is anarthas you have to live with, but there's only one way there's 9 ways to overcome them. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam. These 9 devotional, there's not another thing. And it's the same process for everyone. It's not that the sannyasis have one process and the Matajis have another process. No, it's the same, it's an overall process. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. This question is to my beloved Guru Maharaj, as well as Radhanath-Swami Maharaj. Maharaj, we daily conduct the temple schedule right from Mangalarti to Guru Puja, followed by Maha-Arti. So after that, to please the Guru, Prabhupada and their lordships, without any tinge of selfishness, Mataji asked me, that is my wife, that is, when you leave the body, that is myself, my spiritual life depends on you, what I will do. I tell her, that is, you are a better devotee than me, and you can carry on, but when you leave the body, I always feel that I would have lost a very good devotee. So under the circumstances, Maharaj, please give us confidence. So either one of us has to leave. So how to take about it? When she leaves, definitely I will not hesitate. I will join the Brahmachari ashram. But she is finding other way. If I leave the body early, and what she will do, please instill the confidence. Thank you very much.
Is that all?
If either of you leave, what will I do? But ultimately, Krishna is our supreme husband, our supreme wife, our supreme father, and our supreme protector. It is Krishna that is protecting you through your wife, and Krishna protecting your wife through you. Krishna who's giving us guidance through our spiritual master. Krishna who is inspiring us through the assembled Vaishnavas. If we are sincere, we should have faith that Krishna will be there to protect us and to guide us back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So,
service and separation is a very deep experience of bhakti. And Krishna will be very much there in that separation. But for now, you should get along nicely while you're both still alive, and knowing that death will come eventually, not only for one of you, for both of you, together as a partnership, as grihastas, try to do as much as humanly possible to purify your own hearts and to spread Srila Prabhupada's love to the world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. For His Grace Jananivas Prabhu. Sometimes we get very powerful realizations, but over a period of time, these realizations tend to go away. Also, often these realizations are the foundation for certain resolutions. So when they are no more, it's difficult to maintain the resolutions too, because that spirit, that determination is no more. What is the way to maintain these realizations?
The bhakti process, we call the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, nectar devotion. Ocean is constantly changing. It's always changing. So we should go along with the changes. Krishna consciousness is present right now, and this is the best time for our spiritual advancement. Because right now you can serve Krishna. So right now is the best time to surrender to Krishna. And in the spiritual world, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, he's constantly in one mood, then in another. He's a devotee, he's Krishna, he's a servant of the devotee, he's proud, he's humble, he's devastated, constantly changing. Krishna's also in his pastime with his associates. The mood is always changing. So you live who don't hate attachment, illumination, and so another thing. Nor do they long for them when they've gone. So even illumination, Krishna says, illumination you shouldn't even long for it when it's gone. Because when it's gone, you have some realization, then you're trying to hang on to it, but it's already gone. That means you're living in the past, or you're trying to bring it to the future, or the present. Whereas right now, you can be engaged in service, a new thing. So Krishna says, don't be attached to that. He's actually talking about the modes of nature there. Goodness, passion, and ignorance. Don't be averse to them, don't be attached to them. Even when goodness comes and enlightenment comes, when it goes, he's saying don't be attached to it. So that is the nature of everything. The spiritual world is based on that. It's moving sentiment. It's all the time. It's never one static thing. It's always movement, ecstatic. Same thing again, Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. I think it's probably that point where he's saying that how he's everywhere. He's all pervasive. He's in everything, and we can see him like that. And Arjuna says, "That's fantastic, Krishna. Your explanation, it's really a far-out explanation that you're everywhere, you're present everywhere." And he said, but I have this realization now, but the nature is that this is only going to last a few days. You're speaking these very nice high realizations, but by the nature, and I'm appreciating, but by nature, we lose these things after a few days. The mind will go somewhere else. So that is the nature of the world. It's changing. The spiritual world is like that. That's why the material world is changing. So the idea is that we go along with the changes. And the devotional service that's present before us now, that is what is important for us right now. And the realizations that have gone, that we shouldn't hanker for them or nor lament for them, because when we're hankering and lamenting, we're going to the future or the past. But spiritual life is right now. So that's how it's actually happening in the spiritual world. it's constantly changing one mood to another. So like that, we should not be attached to the realizations when they start to fade away, but realize that we have an opportunity to serve Krishna right now. And that is the greatest situation to be in. That is a perfect situation. There's no better situation to be situated at the lotus feet of Guru and the Parampara. That is our eternal situation. And so that is present right now, despite the constantly changing activities, etc. In devotional service, realizations, they're coming and going. But we remain fixed in this position of serving Krishna right now, then that realizations will come. And anyway, they're coming by Krishna's grace realization. So if Krishna wants to give, he can give. If he doesn't want to give, he won't give. But it won't stop me serving him right now. I'm just like that. So just continue to serve Krishna in this present moment with everything we got. And whatever comes and whatever goes, that's just by Krishna's mercy. Then we can remain satisfied. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. His Holiness Candramauli Swami Maharaj. I don't feel appreciation for things in Krishna consciousness from the heart. My background is also that I never did anything from the heart. So is it my nature? Or if not, then how to develop appreciation from the heart towards devotees and the activities in Krishna consciousness?
All this process actually is a process of mercy. How everything is really being given to us as a gift, as an act of causeless mercy. We can think like that, but we have to understand it through our intelligence by reading books like Nectar of Devotion, which really gives us a deep understanding of the process of bhakti and the glories of bhakti. Through Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. One should be fixed in knowledge. And through knowledge, one can apply that knowledge in a day-to-day life. And as we progress, a genuine appreciation will manifest. So that's why we have all these books, to read them, to understand them, to understand this is what we want to be like. This is what we want to understand is the truth. So the scriptural knowledge, hearing from advanced devotees, we have to hear, we have to read.